Remember to subscribe so you don't miss out on more awesome content.
Hey everybody, I'm finally back, and sorry if you can't understand me. I'm trying my best. I have really bad allergies right now. 3 weeks gone, and my cat is like shedding like crazy because I've been gone so long. So bear with me, my voice is a little off, but I'm going to make the video anyway because it's a video I've really wanted to put out. So here it goes. So like I said, I've been wanting to talk about this ever since the last update fixing the stamina changes. As I made a video about before, I actually really love the stamina changes that they did implement, and I think it's a huge improvement over the bullcrap stamina that they first put out. But there's still a little bit of reason why I think it's not actually a perfect decision. The biggest of it being, if you compare this one to Battlefront 15, you might notice that Battlefront 15's stamina system had the same kind of thing where if you hold your block up, it drains it over time. Now, the biggest difference with this one is that, yes, the block does drain over time, but also every time you dodge, there's a increase when you go back to blocking for just like putting up your block initially, whereas Battlefront 15 did not have that stamina drain when you initially put your block up. It wasn't like a huge chunk that you were missing every single time you put your block back up after putting it down. The other big thing is that Battlefront 15 didn't lose stamina for attacking, and that is, I think, the biggest difference with the stamina changes in this one is that you implement all of the changes and you kind of implement the system that you had in Battlefront 15 where you drain stamina over time the longer you hold it, but the biggest thing with this one is that you didn't need that in this one because your stamina drains for multiple different reasons, and including attacking, which you're doing quite often if you're, in a battle, especially in Heroes vs. Villains. So half the time, even with these stamina changes, as soon as you go on the offense, you're out of stamina, so you can't quickly go back on defense. Now, the only exception to this is, like in my video right here, if you're playing as like Luke or somebody, you can kind of offset this by using like the rush ability or force powers, because characters with like heavy crowd control like that, they'll get their stamina back while using abilities, so you can kind of push people away to get your stamina back or whatever. But other characters like Vader or Kylo especially is kind of the biggest one you might notice with, because he really doesn't have anything to offset besides freezing or pulling. You might notice when you start attacking with those characters, you're also like red so much of the time in Heroes vs. Villains because there's so much chaos going on usually, and you're attacking as much as you are defending against other characters with lightsabers. So the stamina changes just right there, I've noticed, are not perfect, and I still think they can be fine-tuned a bit more, if only for Heroes vs. Villains, if anything, because it worked for Battlefront 15, but with all of the extra stamina drains, it just feels like it doesn't work too much for Heroes vs. Villains when it comes to this Battlefront 2. And it's I actually had no problem with the stamina system before, and the only reason they had it changed was, again, because the way it worked was that you only lost stamina when being attacked, which was fine. People still managed to drain your stamina back then, but the problem was people were just dashing around forever and not really losing stamina while holding their block up. And when you got in a lightsaber battle is really where you noticed the issue, because you can drain the stamina with people shooting at you, and so that wasn't really the issue. It was when you got into battle with another lightsaber user, because there was really no way to drain their stamina without hitting them, which would stagger you. And I've mentioned before, a perfect solution to this, in my opinion, and I've had a lot of people agree with me, is that the best way to do the stamina would have been to actually just have like normal attacks basically hit the lightsaber but not stagger the attacker when the other person's blocking. So basically they would have to parry to stagger you. So like they can wail on your lightsaber, draining your stamina, like in the movies. Basically you can just kind of keep hitting their lightsaber, it wouldn't stagger you, but they would have to parry to knock you off, kind of like any other fighting game. You just keep wailing, they have to kind of parry to knock you off, and that's how fighting games work as well. But that's the biggest issue I have with this stamina, is that they tried to implement the system kind of like a mixture from Battlefront 15, but it really doesn't work because you're taking two of the punishments for stamina. You're taking the punishments for this one and mixing it with the punishment from that one, and not giving people enough like actual usefulness out of the blocking system. And like I said, a lot of the characters can offset it with certain abilities, whether it's the infinite stamina that Rey and Vader have, or the cooldowns or crowd control like Luke has. You can kind of offset it and play strategically. So like I said, these new changes have made it a lot easier to do that, but I still think it would be better to kind of go with the system that I was saying, or have just some other system where it's not punishing you as much for going on the offensive, because you can't just defend forever. And that's pretty much like, and when you're going offensive against other lightsaber users, you have to actually defend. It's like a fighting game. You're going to have to alternate between blocking and attacking. If you just keep attacking, you're just going to both be trading blows, and it's just a little bit easier. And right now, I mean, dodging is kind of the meta, but there's issues with that too. So that's it. That's been my issues ever since they changed the update. But overall, I still think it's a great change from what it was before, because the first stamina update was awful. It was terrible. You couldn't defend at all with a lightsaber user. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys have any other solutions like mine or not like mine, but that would you think would make Battlefront 2 actually have really good stamina. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.